right, family, here we are. We are back once again with the Victim or Villain series of Beauty in Black by Tyler Perry. And today we're going to talk about the characters Olivia and Norman, played by the great veteran actors Debbie Morgan and Richard Lawson. Let's get into it, fam. Let's break it down. Well, family, here we are. Beauty in Black, Tyler Perry, the #1 TV series on Netflix, and we are talking about Beauty in Black and these characters right here. Now, on the left, we have Horace. We'll get to Horace a little bit later, but today we are going to get specific and get into Olivia and Norman. And yes, these guys are off the chain. Now, if you've been watching the series, if you watched it, family, you already know that Norman, played by Richard Lawson, his wife was ran over by Mallory, but he doesn't know exactly who hit his wife. His wife is basically in a coma, self-induced coma by the doctors, and she is fighting for her life, and he is fighting to find out exactly who hit his wife. Now, what do we find out about Norman? Norman is a chemist, PhD, and he was the one that put all the chemicals together for the relaxer for the company Beauty in Black. Him and his brother put the company together, made millions of dollars, and now because Norman put the wrong chemicals together, people are basically getting cancer and they're losing their lives. So Norman, while wanting to find out what's going on with his wife and who took out his wife, who ran over his wife, we have major lawsuits coming at the company because of what he did and how he put the wrong chemicals together. People are suffering. So when Norman storms in to the conference room, he accuses the boys, we're talking about Charles and Roy, of hitting his wife. But of course, Horace and Norman, they have deep, dark feuds that's going on that we haven't really found out too much about yet. They are going back and forth of who started the company and who was the one that made the company happen. And pretty much Horace told him to get out. And we find out that, yes, Horace tried to sue Norman and lost, right? Because Norman was just as much part of the company as Horace was making the deals, being a business major and making business moves. So as they're going back and forth, family, we see this major family friction going on, but we find out that there's a darker side to Norman. Now, Norman, again, being a chemist, we also found out that he also was a judge as well. So many occupations that this guy had, and that he was connected to other judges as well. And as we go forward, we're going to see how Olivia, played by the great Debbie Morgan, how she is going to make sure that her boys, Roy and Charles, are not to be touched by the dangerous Norman. So as she is running into Charles's house and looking around and asking questions, she is making sure that her boys weren't the ones that ran over Norman's wife. Now, she is supposed to be part of the church, and she is part of the church, and she's trying to take this high road. She is the ex-wife of Horace at this point. This is what we found out, and the mother of Roy and Charles. So she's trying to be protective over her sons. But Norman, being the evil person that he is, and she knows this, she has to really play chess, not checkers, and be very strategic as to how she's approaching him. So she's going to try to protect her boys, but it's going to be very hard because these two are always into trouble, always doing crazy things and scandalous things, and pretty much mooching off of the business and just living the high life with no responsibility or accountability. But being a mother, they are still her sons, and she's going to do everything in her power to protect them. So as we go on further along in the series, we see that Olivia is trying to play nice with Norman. She tries to warn Charles to stay away from him and not antagonize him, but she goes to the hospital to check on Norman and his wife. And Norman is not happy to see her. Norman is like, listen, Ina would not be happy of you being here because me and you messed around. So we find out that, yes, Norman and Olivia messed around, probably while they were married. So he is wondering why she's there. She's trying to be nice, but now he is still on a warpath to get at her sons. And she lets him know, listen, I'm telling you right now, I'm trying to be a good woman, but you're trying to make me into the bee that I used to be. If you touch my sons, it's going to be hell to pay. Now, what she does is she gives him paperwork, letting him know, and as we find out, I believe in episode 4, that yes, Norman and Jules are connected and they have been trafficking women. They have been doing some unscrupulous things undercover. And we find out the connection that Norman has with Jules and how Jules and Norman are in business together, pimping women, pimping people, selling them, doing all types of crazy stuff on the low. So Norman is connected to Jules, and Jules and him are doing business together. And we see why Jules is the way he is with these women and with these people. Really an evil situation where they are moving things around. And yes, Olivia is ready to expose it if he puts a hand on her boys. But Jules reigns with an iron fist. And yes, we know that this guy is evil and he is a villain. And he is working with Norman. So she is willing to expose that, and he just needs to back down off of the boys. And if he doesn't, she's going to expose it. But Norman could care less. He doesn't give a F what he tells her. He's like, I don't give a F. Do what you got to do. And she really doesn't want to do it. She's really trying to take the high road. And he asks her, why are you protecting these mother effers? And she says, because they're my mother effers. That's right. She is protecting her sons. Is she a villain? Is she a victim? You guys let me know. But yes, Norman made a bad decision, as we find out later on in the series, that he trusted this other doctor, not the general doctor, not the head doctor at the hospital, but another doctor, to move her out of that hospital to another hospital for whatever reason, to get better treatment. He feels that she wants better treatment and that she needs better treatment. Unfortunately, if you watch the series, you already know that yes, in between that move, his wife passed away. And Norman went on a rampage, pulled out the strap, and the doctor said, I'm sorry, I thought she was going to live. And he pretty much popped the doctor and everybody in that ambulance who allowed his wife to pass away in transit. So family, you guys let me know. Drop your comments below. Is Olivia a victim, villain, or both? Is Norman a victim, villain, or a little bit of both? Family, drop your comments below. Let me know. This series is an incredible series. Make sure you watch Beauty in Black on Netflix. Tyler Perry's Beauty in Black. Crazy series. This is just part 1, and we will get part 2 in March of 2025. Make sure you check out our live reactions to these episodes as well. I believe we are up to episode 4 at this time. And we're going to keep going all the way up to that final episode and get ready for part 2. Family, drop your comments below. Let me know. I appreciate you all for watching. If you love this video, like this video, appreciate this video, definitely check out the next one right here. And until next time, salute.